How does our personality impact our academic outcomes? And in specific, which parts of the personality traits, and in specifically the big five personality traits, neuroticism, openness to experience, extroversion, conscientiousness, and agreeableness, how do they impact our SAT scores and our GPA? Researchers at the UC Davis sought to determine how our personality affects those levels of our academic outcomes through four independent samples. They collected data from 10,497 undergraduate students at UC Davis who were part of a psychology study pool. Sample 2 included 495 UC Berkeley undergraduate students who entered the university in 1992 and were part of a longitudinal study that was done there. Sample 3, again, 470 undergrad students in UC Davis who were in introductory psych classes and entered that same psychology study pool from UC Davis in spring 2006. Finally, sample 4 included 425 undergraduate students from UC Davis who were also in introductory psychology classes and entered that same psychology study pool there at the University of Davis in fall of 2006. Each sample received their own different personality inventory. These are four well-established inventories. Sample 1 received the 44-item Big 5 inventory. Sample 2, the 60-item NEO 5-factor inventory. Sample 3 received the 280-item Hexaco personality inventory. And finally, Sample 4 received conscientiousness and openness to experience facets of the NEO PIR, which is just another well-established personality inventory. Now, the researchers gave each of these samples different inventories because they wanted to test the correlation of the scores across each of the inventories. They also wanted to see how the different inventories correlated with scores on the SAT Verbal, SAT Math, the college GPA, and high school GPA. It's important to note that these scores were self-reported for the SAT and GPAs, but with sample 2, the researchers cross-examined the self-reported SAT and GPA scores with the University Records Department and found that they were highly positively correlated. So the researchers discovered, as you can see in this table, that's the descriptive statistics of each of the Big 5 inventory, the Big 5 personality traits, the SAT verbal scores, SAT math scores, college GPA, and high school GPA. One thing that's interesting is the SAT verbal and math scores there was a very wide range of scores there. So the researchers discovered that SAT verbal scores were highly related with openness to experience, one of the Big 5 personality traits, with R values ranging from 0.2 to 0.26 across all four samples. Now for the Hexaco PI from sample 3, the openness to experience facets were related highly to SAT verbal scores as well, with correlations ranging from 0.15 to 0.23. Researchers discovered that conscientiousness was positively related to both college and high school GPA as well. Now, what does this mean? We know that SAT scores have a great impact on our entrance to universities, as well as our high school GPA. And our college GPA determines what major we get into, perhaps if we go to graduate school or not, and can impact even job prospects in the future. So because SAT verbal scores were very, very highly correlated with openness to experience, college GPA was predicted by conscientiousness as well. Now, the other Big 5 personality traits only had weak or no correlations. Since GPA and SAT scores, as I mentioned before, impact our entrance to college, how we do in college and what majors we may pick, whether we go to graduate school or not, and even jobs in the future, research needs to be done to determine how individuals can develop conscientiousness and openness to experience, or if there are other factors that may compensate for low scores in conscientiousness and openness. More research is needed to determine whether there are study habits or other traits that highly correlate with conscientiousness and openness that would allow individuals low in those two traits to score just as high. Um, and finally, more research is needed to determine how individuals who score low on conscientiousness and openness can achieve similar results to their peers who score high in conscientiousness and openness to experience. Once that research is done, educators can then provide added support to their students who scored low in those two items, conscientiousness and openness, as well as determine other compensatory factors. Thank you.